Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we're going to be upgrading our power and also getting our storage system automated and showing you what this little horse guy here is all up to. So, I hope you guys are ready. So today there's going to be a lot for us to kind of go over, and as you can see, I have done just a little bit with that lava automation that we had set up with the wireless stuff. So now this will always have lava in it, and I was able to set up a multi-smelter setup, I guess you can call this. And this could actually work even more compact if you really wanted to. But this right here is doing it just like all of the materials that we have. It'll just make it easier and faster for us to produce the materials. And later on, we can automatically pipe with the item transfers. We can automatically pull out of auto packagers that we can set up with our storage system that's over there. So getting all this automated is not going to be very difficult. Today, we're also going to work on the alloyer. So that is going to require this bad boy to just be completely swapped around, flipped upside down, and we're going to try and get that smelter to actually function. So for that, we're going to need a couple things. Right, so we're going to need this to be removed. I might even remove these just to give us some space. And we're going to get that thing set up so that way we can make some alloys, and that'll help us get some, better pipes from other mods. There are a couple of mods that have really good pipes for this, or really good pipes, but they're kind of just locked behind just making alloys. So like Invar, for example, that is something that we probably want to have. So I'm going to go ahead and get the automation cleared up. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get, I guess, some cobble. Some good old-fashioned cobble in here. That way we can just get ourselves a nice work area. So let's take a quick read at how this thing works to get this alloy smelter. So if we get to Tinker's Complement and we take a look at the porcelain alloyer, it does tell you here, and it also tells you in the quest in the guidebook, that you cannot use a porcelain alloy tank if you're using a Tinker's seared version. So if you're using seared materials, stay with seared materials. If you're going with porcelain materials, stay with porcelain materials. That is very important. So let's make a porcelain tank, just like that. And then we need 2 of the porcelain faucets, and that will get us a porcelain alloy tank. So it says alloys liquids from adjacent porcelain tanks and melters, or adjacent porcelain tanks and melters. So we are probably going to use melters. And I think I have another melter laying around in here. So we're going to kind of configure it like this. And we also probably need another porcelain tank. Because we need, let's see, 2 tanks sort of like this to heat our porcelain melters. And then we need a heater. So a porcelain heater that is going to go underneath the alloyer. So it should sort of look like this when we go to place this thing down. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. And the porcelain heater goes here. 2 porcelain melters. And these should connect to this alloyer tank. And then, of course, we are going to have the ability to output. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out and replace that with a chest instead. And we're going to use ourselves a hopper to go ahead and get that automated. And then we're probably going to need something to cast. So a ingot cast and a porcelain casting table. Just like that. And pretty much you have like a very slow version of a Tinker's Construct smeltery. And we have a porcelain faucet. So this should work. So if we're taking a look at Invar, for example, this is just for an example, and we look at the fluids here, this should tell us, or I think if you take a look at Invar in how it's, I guess the only way it's made is in this, with the fluids. But you can kind of see that I believe it is 3 iron to 1 nickel produces this. The way this is showing is a little bit kind of weird to see, but I'm pretty sure it is like that. Let's get a bucket. We're going to just throw some lava in. We'll have this automated later on. I'll have it automatically sent to this. And then we'll also have an auto charcoal feed going into this thing as well. Because we do need to fill it with coal or charcoal. I'm just going to fill it with charcoal. Back here. There we go. Don't forget that part because that is important. And we're going to go ahead and feed this. So, if we take a look at nickel. I'm going to do 1 nickel, and then we're going to do iron. And I think it's 1 to 3, or it might be 2 to 3, but I think it's 1 to 3. If it is a little bit messed up, we can easily fix this. But this should work, unless I have this wrong, and this is wrong to me. I don't think it is wrong, but this should technically fill this with an alloy automatically, because it does tell you to place it adjacent to the melters. It'll also be adjacent to the tank. You can even see that like it kind of carries over, right? You can kind of see that. I'm kind of just waiting for this to finish melting, and then we'll kind of know here. Almost done, almost melted, and it fills there, and that drained into the alloy tank automatically, right? And then so did that, and we're left with a little bit of molten Invar. All right, so we have 1 ingot left. So what my guess is it's 2 to 1. So, which I guess I could have just done the math, but it is going to be 2 iron to the tin, or not tin, Invar or nickel. Perfect. Which means we can put another nickel over here and 1 over there, and this will equal the proper amount. So I should be able to cast out 2 ingots worth of Invar. Right, or 3 ingots worth of Invar, actually. And there's our first Invar alloyed. So yeah, we now have an alloyed ingot. So this is how you do the alloying stuff with the porcelain alloyer. I know a lot of people had some questions about this, so I definitely wanted to cover it and make it as clear as possible for people to understand. But I guarantee you a lot of people are missing the fact that they need an actual heater under here and not a tank. And or they're mix matching their materials that are being used, because those do matter as well. So yeah, I guess now, I mean, we can automate this or use a pipe here. But Invar is a very useful thing. Mainly because if we want to use thermal and have any useful pipe at all, at least using the hardened servos is where you want to go, or the hardened retrievers. Either way, it needs Invar, and these are way better than just using your basic servo. So you can tell right here, it does 16 items versus these do 8. So it's a nice upgrade and can usually keep up with everything. And using retriever upgrades, of course, is going to be your best bet because you use the least amount of materials. But yeah, that is how you set up the alloy tank. Now, let's move on into some more power stuff. So when it comes to power, this simple thermal generator, or geothermal generator, it's okay, but we can upgrade this thing. So take a look at our generators. We have the simple geothermal generator. Now, this may be a little hard to find because the mod is not under simple generators, so the upgrades aren't actually under simple generators. You have to look at Valkyrie lib, because the Valkyrie lib is the library that the simple generators uses, and that is where the upgrades for which these generators reside. So to upgrade this simple generator, we need to use these modifier components, and they require black concrete powder, and that can be done with coal or I believe charcoal. Yeah, pulverized charcoal can work. To get pulverized charcoal in those materials that we're going to be using a lot, it requires a lot of manual grinding. And I think at this point, we should be able to get around that. So, with our leather, we should be able to actually get a horse seed. And there's also a skeleton horse, but I don't know how great that's going to be. I'm just going to use a regular horse. Get some bone meal. We should be able to get that. And I want to be able to spawn a horse. And this guy has, I mean, it's got a 2.3 times speed. I mean, we might be able to make another one just to see if we can get one faster. Doesn't hurt to have another horse running around. So let's make another horse. And this one does 2.8 speed. So this one is definitely faster. And what we want to do is kind of let that bad boy grow up. Because we're going to actually take a grindstone. We're going to replace this bad boy. This mod is not called horsepower for a reason. So, to make this, we actually need to make a couple leads, which is fine. And we're going to get ourselves a horse grindstone. This thing is actually going to go in the center here, because what I'm going to do is get a hopper. And we are going to funnel that into a chest. Like so. And then we are going to have a hopper go into that. And on top of that, we're going to do this. So, it says, invalid 7x7x2 area. Hold a lead to retrieve area as needed. So let's see what exactly this is needing. Because the horse seed is in the way. That's easy to fix. That one's a 2.7. That's a pretty good speed as well. But now, let's see. This thing should be able to place, right? Yeah, it's green all around. We're good. It just still says hold a lead to retrieve. Hold a lead to retrieval area needed. It says 7 by... I'm pretty sure that we are okay. It looked like it was okay. Unless we need to kind of move things, but like the way that this is showing looks like everything is okay. Everything is green. Oh, it needs to go up one block, I do believe. Okay, so let's take the hopper up one block then. Then that's, I guess, is what it's actually requiring. Okay, so, I mean, I learned something new as well. Let's grab a piece of dirt. And this is technically needing to go up one, which is fine, because we can place it on a hopper. Like that. We can place this here. There we go. And then on top of that, we can place our hopper. Other hopper. And we'll just use one hopper just to make it simple, like that. So that'll auto-input items. When it's done grinding, it'll auto-export the items. And all we gotta do now is hook up a horse with a lead. And we should be good. So maybe we can do our fastest one. When this guy grows up, it will really start working. Because I don't think it's going to work right off the bat. We can try. I also want to get a shovel. And go ahead and actually change the working, or mess with the working area here. Just like this. The working area, I think, goes around it now that I look at it. And leaves this area alone. There we go. And yeah, I can replace this and put grass back there. Perfect. And we'll get some grass. Alright. So yeah, whenever we put like charcoal in here, I don't know if the little horse... the little horse is going to work. So, the little horse is going to do his thing. He's going to run around in circles. He's going really fast. And this right here is actually going to grind up and pulverize the charcoal for us. Really, really cool, actually. And I really do love the way that this is working. I don't think you can do multiple animals. I don't believe. Like for the same task. This guy's pretty fast, though. Yeah, no, it's only one connection per. But doesn't hurt to get him hooked up for later on. There we go. We can just keep him tied up. So yeah, that is how you automate the grindstone early game. Very, very easy. So now that we have that, I am going to need this pulverized charcoal because, like I said, we have to make the upgrades for this. So pulverized charcoal, you're good to go. Let's make some black concrete powder. And we're going to need sand and gravel. Good old-fashioned gravel. I don't think I have this added to my list, so there we go. And then we can actually, I think I've brought this up before. You know, you can hold control and hit up to pull up your last or previous searches. And there we go. And we can get ourselves our concrete. 32 is going to be good because we need to also make some upgrades. So let's get back into here. And like I said, we're searching Valkyrie because this is the actual components that we need to make. It's going to require a couple of iron blocks. And there we go. We were able to make 32 components. Let's go ahead and grab our generator. And we're going to upgrade our generator to the next tier. That should unlock the level up, which is actually over here. And then I want to make these speed modifiers. So, speed modifiers going to require a bit of redstone, isn't it? So let's go ahead and make that. It's going to be well worth it, though, to make the speed upgrades, as we have a lot of lava that we can generate. This, by the way, when we use these upgrades, it is going to start using a lot more lava. But it's going to produce way more power. Way more power. And be able to keep up indefinitely with everything that we're working on. So just keep that in mind, that things are going to run very smooth. But yeah, this is super cool. I love the horse. We can just kind of let him do its thing. And when it becomes full grown, in 13 minutes, I think it works faster. I don't know. But either way, having a little baby horse do it is actually just as fun. So now that we have power, I think we should start working on our chargers. Because there is a couple things that I want to make. We have right here the wireless charger, which I think might be one of the best things. But it says can be disabled with redstone. This thing, I think, is going to be like one of our best bets. But there are other chargers that we can also make. And we need to make them because they are a part of a quest line. So, let's go ahead and make that. What, are we missing some diamond? Wow. Not for long. Last one. And bam. There we go. All of those ended up completing some power quests that were right here. I think the wireless charger might be really good. So if we place the wireless charger like right here, I believe it says enabled, powered 0 on the status. It should power. I don't know, we'll find out. So let's get ourselves the building wand. Oh, you know what? This is from the same mod, is it not? It's from the chargers mod, right? Let's get the charger, right? And then place the wireless charger on top. Is that how it works? I don't know. Either way, let's get ourselves the building gadget. The building gadget is a very powerful tool, and I noticed the wireless charger is not working per se. Maybe I need to link it in some way. Can be disabled with redstones. All this gives me on here. I have a feeling, though, it has something to do with these guys. Because this is, of course, this is not getting power. Oh, so something that is that is around our GPS markers is using all of our power somehow. It certainly can't be these things. There's nothing else in our system that is really using power other than our deep mob learning. And there's no way that is using power, is it? Oh, it is! It is just charging up fully. Okay. So that's understandable. Okay, so this might still work without the charger. We'll find out, but I think you might have to place it on top. We'll find out here in a second. This is almost done. Like, it's almost there. Waiting just a split second, and we'll get there. But anyways, what we're going to do is we're actually going to pipe items from under here, and we're going to route that into our system. So that way we have, this system becomes fully automated. And our resources and that we gather from there is going to be fully automated. I think that's going to make our life way better. Ah, and you can see it's already wirelessly charging. So really, it doesn't need this, I don't believe. Can this go on top of here, and does that make it faster? No, it doesn't. So this does not do anything like that. So, what do we need this thing for? Well, I guess we could use this to charge things really fast, because this will charge this up like almost instantly whenever it has a full charge. But if we have it wirelessly charging, then this building gadget is going to be the way to go. So, in order to do that, like in order to get our cabling run and run that underneath here, I think we need a couple of platforms, and this mod makes this really easy. So if we get some cobble, right here, we can go ahead and grab some cobble. And then I have a default key. I use my mouse has like 4 keys on it. So I actually hold down a button, but you can set this to anything. And this is the actual GUI. So you go into your settings or your options, controls, and you can just search building gadgets and hit category. And I usually disable all of these features except for the menu guide. If you're an advanced user, you'll probably want to use these. But believe me, the only thing you're really going to be needing if you're just a new user is probably your settings menu, which I set to button 5 on my mouse. You can set it to whatever is convenient for you. But I find this is the most convenient. So with the regular builder, you have a few different options in here. You have your undo button, so remember that. You have your mirror, rotate, and then you have your direction and specific placement of blocks. And then down here you have your range where you can bring it up or bring it down. So I'm going to set my range to 9. I'm going to set to the setting to a horizontal column, I believe. A horizontal column, yes. And when I look after selecting a block, so if I shift click on this block, it now is set to cobblestone, and which is in my inventory. So I can look at the block, and it's going to place 9 blocks from the block I'm currently staring at. So it should have placed 9 blocks, and it ends all the way down here. So this is very handy for doing this task. So once I do these tasks and I place my pipes and everything like that, I don't have to actually break these blocks if I don't want to. I can just click undo, and those blocks go back into my inventory. So for building and doing specific tasks like I'm about to be working on, remember that you can actually undo multiple times as well. So you can build multiple platforms and do that. So I'm going to set this up to maybe 12, just so I have a little bit more space. We're going to place a couple here and here. Remember, we probably need some torches. We do not want any bad guys spawning on us while we're down here. I don't think I can reach that, so I'll do it over here myself. So I'm going to use the cable that's actually built into the mod, I believe. I think that's going to be, it's going to be okay. These don't actually produce as fast as you might think. Thermal expansion cables would also be nice, but I think sticking with the mod itself would probably be good. So, with that being said, simple storage cables, you have 2 different types of cable management. You have your importer and exporter. So think of it this way. An export cable is you're talking about the system itself. So everything that's stored in your system. So an export cable is going to mean you're going to pull items from your system. An import cable means you're going to put items into your system. So think of it that way, not thinking of it as a normal cable where like an exporter would be what pulls things into other inventories. This is a little opposite from that because you're thinking from the perspective of the simple storage network. So this is going to require some hoppers, which of course, you know, we all know what hoppers require. We're going to need a little bit of this, and actually, I don't think we're going to need too many hoppers, but we're going to grab a few. When it comes to iron, we may be pushing it a little bit low on iron. We have a little bit here. So I may not do all of this fully set up today. I'm going to try my best, though. So simple storage network, import cables, hoppers. Let's do 6, because we also need to make the cables, which are going to require some stone slabs. So there we go. There's all of that. And then we can actually make these import cables. So 16 isn't going to get everything done, but it will be good enough to get us at a pretty decent place. So let's get this main line here done. So I'm just going to place these connected to these drawers, and then we'll do these last. But we have 7, so we need 2 more left over. Oh, and right there I kind of messed up, so I'm going to make sure I get close enough so I don't lose it. There we go, since they are kind of expensive. So there we go. Like I said, we need 2 left. And I'll go ahead and place those 2 here once we get our cable connected. So let's hook our cable there, just to make sure these are connected. And we need to set these, I believe, to blacklist, because right now it's set to import specific items. So setting these to white or blacklist is going to allow these to actually pull everything from the chest over, which sounds a little weird, but that's just how, I mean, they have a built-in filter in them. So they are actually pretty good for like managing resources and things like that if you really wanted to. Like I said, you can have it go into the network and then you can filter things out of the network if you so desired. But I'm not too worried about that part in particular. All right, so we'll get these last 2 placed down. Like I said, flip these. And then I'm going to run this cable to this center block. Like that. I'm going to run this down. Like so. And yeah, we're probably going to have to tear this apart a little bit. We're going to be tearing this little walkway apart, which is fine because we can replace it later. But this needs to go down. Let's see. Can I get this block to place? Maybe right here. Let's see. Place it down. I don't know if I can reach down here. I'm going to try. Ah, we can. Perfect. So, now that that is hooked together, we now have the ability to pull this down. I think let's get a bucket of water. I'm going to place that here. That's going to allow us to drop this down one more, because we need this to go completely under this whole setup. Perfect. All right, and now it's just a matter of running this cable to our system, and these drawers are going to be hooked up. So in that process, I'm also going to smelt up some more iron, get the other side hooked up, and this thing should be ready to function and should be filling these cabinets up, and we shouldn't have to worry about going over here and touching these bonsais anymore. So now that everything's hooked up, we can probably make one of our, well, few saplings left to do. I went ahead and made a cookie sapling. That one was very self-explanatory, and, well, I didn't figure it needed too much example. But the copper one is going to be a requirement for getting osmium, or osmium. I always pronounce it osmium with an N, even though it's an M. But we still need to make that copper one. So the cookie one just required a jungle sapling, cookies, and of course a piece of sugar. That was very simple. Copper, though, is going to require red sand. And red sand actually needs a red dye and a piece of sand in order to make it. So we need some red dye. I don't know if I have just red dye. I guess I do. So we need 1 red dye, a bucket. Well, I guess we already have a bucket there. And we'll need some sand. Just literally 1 piece of sand. And we're going to be good. So what we can do over here is place a bucket of water in here. Hit it with some red sand. And this turns us into 4 buckets of red dye. So what we can do is place a piece of sand in there. And later on maybe utilize that red dye for dyeing any material we want to. So say wool or whatever, we can get 4 dyed wool out of here instead of just 1 from the plain old recipe, which I really like. So we have that red sand. Let's go ahead and make ourselves the copper, amber, because that's of course how we made all the other saplings. So copper amber is going to require some sand, clay, and petrified. So very simple recipe there. And we can go in here and just melt that down. Let's go ahead and pull this cast because we are going to need a sapling. But we're going to need a spruce sapling. I think I might have a spruce because I remember making it before and growing it. So we already have the spruce sapling required. We're pretty much ready to go. And all we got to do is wait for that to melt down, which isn't going to take very long at all. And there we go. And of course, that's going to get us our copper sapling. So in order to get into Mechanism, which Mechanism provides a lot of automation for us that requires power, and we can also make power with that, we need to get copper. So that is a good step. Also, copper unlocks nuclear craft for us, which has a lot of really cool machines that are going to make our life a lot easier. And kind of replace the melter system that we currently have. And it'll utilize power instead of this lava. So we're going to get into a more industrial type age very, very soon. Because right now we are very low tech, low material cost for a lot of things. But things are going to really change for us. Also, this is going to automatically pull. Because I did go ahead and get that set up, you can see that this does now automatically pull and go into our system. So I am going to need to make sure for the cookie sapling and this one, when I check this chest, which is getting kind of full, when I check this chest, that I am finding things that are kind of overloading. So cobblestone, we might make folders for each of the materials, but folders are definitely the way to go when it comes to doing this. You can see I also have the cable that's running now up into here. I think what I might do is reroute this cable and have it going directly into the bottom of the storage master. So that way it doesn't look so, I don't know, ugly here. I don't know if that exactly works like it's supposed to, but it should recognize these other cables and make sure that it doesn't go into this compacting chest. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get those folders, guys. This has been a very interesting episode. I hope you learned something. I do try to show off something that you may not know about in this pack every episode, and so far you guys have been absolutely loving it. I really do appreciate the kind comments that you guys have been posting. So anyways, if you guys are watching this, I am probably live on Twitch right now, so I do recommend you heading on over there. I usually, if I am live, have a link posted or pinned down into the comments below, so be sure to check that out. Anyways, guys, I really do appreciate you guys stopping by and watching this video. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, click that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. Guys, I'll see you in the next episode, and as always, thanks for watching.